Hey guys, it's good to see you. It's Ryan here with DP Marketing Services, coming at you during my morning coffee and wanting to answer a question that I see a lot thrown around in different Facebook groups. I know you guys have it, which is a really simple question, like how much should a website cost? And that's a great question. And the short answer is it depends. Just like if you're plumbing, if you're HVAC, if you're electrical contractor, you know that there's a lot that goes into your job to do it well. You know that if somebody calls, you'll be like, hey, how much for X? You're like, well, it depends if it's this or this or this. You realize that there's a lot into that particular question that it's really hard to kind of just boil it down. And yet, guys all the time on Facebook groups will be like, I spend $5,000 for my website, or I spend $200 for my website, or whatever. I just want to pull back the curtain to see kind of, at least when we at DP think about websites, here's kind of the things that we consider that you totally should go to, because there are lots of options where you can DIY your own website build, right? There's Wix, there's Duda, there's Squarespace. And the other bias that I bring to the table is that, in our opinion, a website has two jobs. One, it has to rank on Google. If the website doesn't rank, it's broken. And two, the website has to convert your traffic to a lead. If it doesn't convert, it's broken. It has to do both. So it's really easy to go out and pay for a Wix site or get a Squarespace site, and they might look totally fine. But if they don't rank and if they don't convert, then there's not much to it. So that's kind of our bias. This is a website we launched a little bit ago. So I want to walk through kind of some of the things that are here. So one, every page that we build is going to have these hero sections on what we call the pillar pages. A pillar page is going to be something that's the primary sort of function of the page. For the trades, it's going to be a lot of searches are like geo modified, right? They'll say like plumber near me, or the name of your city followed by AC repair. So we want to make sure that those always present really strong. So the top of the page here is called the hero. We have a really clear call to action. There's my face is up here. There's another one there. We can't assume that people are going to scroll back up. So we want to make sure that all those things are there. You can't quite see it because I've got a little plugin enabled, but there's the sticker is heady here. And that's just my plugin that's making it where it looks funky. But you can go down and all this content is written, all these photos there. We got these reviews coming in real time. All these are different sorts of jobs. What we're doing here is building out what's called the latent semantic index for Google. Think of it like a keyword cloud of things that Google associates with your business. All these are links to those particular pages. Another sort of obvious CTA. These images are marked up with code called schema. So these are marked up with a language that Google crawls. We have all the stuff here. We have recent reviews. Hold on here a bit. Current offers, again, more CTAs. We have different cities that we're targeting. Great. We're still going down. We are just writing, in this case, a lot of content. This content is, there's two aspects here. One is we want to make sure we give Google enough context that they understand what you do. And two, we want to make sure that we leverage the right type of content. So you see that we have heading tags, we have different categories here, we have different ways of saying the services. So cooling, heating, and plumbing. Up here it's plumbing, heating, and AC. So we use variations that are natural. And so this is a lot of content. And if I'm really candid, when you're doing a website, the code is arguably one of the cheaper things to do. Like a lot of WordPress themes are pretty cheap, if not free. But when you start doing this, the actual writing the content is where these guys earn their keep. So the content for the reader, but also the content for Google, so like the on-page optimization. So this is going to be things like the internal linking here, making sure all these are marked up with the correct tags, the whole nine yards. There's a lot that goes into it. If I were to go up into any of these various city pages, I'm just going to randomly, let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. Just going to pick one of these towns. You'll see that we have the same sort of thing here, right? We have primary city, this town has its own content written for this thing. So we would expect people in this particular city, I'm not going to try to pronounce it because that will screw it up. We would expect them to find this particular page first. And it still links to all the other services. So this in the SEO world is called internal linking. So this is the pillar page for this particular service, all this. So having the content written, having the architecture made, having all the photos mocked up, if there's any sort of videos that we need to integrate or whatever, this is really the difference between a website that's like one you build yourself or one you pay like a couple $100 a month for, and one that's, kind of earns its keep. A lot of websites that are massive. And by massive, I mean, I don't think we release a website typically with less than 50 pages. Most of our websites are pretty big. And 50 pages for you might be like, that's nothing. If you want to like ballpark a cost per page, by the time you talk about software licenses, hosting, the development, the design, the content writing and integration, it's not crazy to think a website could be anywhere from $100 to $250 a page. By the time it's all said and done, the more that you ask the website to do, obviously, the more cost you can associate with it. So in this case, we have a chat integration. This is popped up here. This looks like it's schedule engine. So all those things are going to increase like your total cost to the website. And that's not counting things yet like hosting, SSL, CDN licenses, any sort of plugins that would do, like for instance on the homepage, where you saw the, come on homepage, where you saw the reviews stream in here. Like this is a plugin. This costs money to actually serve these reviews in real time. And this one down here is that one called Nearby Now. So this is another plugin that pulls this data in real time. All this is like additional cost over time, that if you want that sort of functionality, somebody's got to cover the cost. So yeah, you can totally get a really cheap website for a few $1,000s. Typically those websites have just a few pages, maybe 4 or 5 pages. Even from some of the big companies, in the trade groups that you know who they are, they might just do 4 or 5 pages and say good luck to you. Or if they give you every city page, every city is going to be exactly the same content. They just change the name of the city. We've seen that a lot too, where this town or this particular client has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 these towns. So if you go in here, each of these pages has unique content. The San Marcos page has content unique to San Marcos. There's a lot of places that won't go and put in that effort because it takes time and it's expensive to do. So when you say, hey, we want this to be specific language to the specific page, cool, but there's a lot of cheaper companies who will happily do this with the same content and they'll just change the name of the city. Problem with that is if Google sees that 99% of the content's the same, they have a hard time knowing which one to serve, and so they don't serve any. So again, going back to a website has 2 jobs, to rank and to convert. For us, that's a really important thing. So yeah, I just figured I'd come at you because I know this is a topic a lot of you guys think about, and it's totally a fair question. You can easily spend $40,000 to $50,000 or more on a website. If you have a custom design done, if you have every content unique to every service, to every page, like if it's a massive website, that's not a crazy number, especially if you're doing something that's custom tailored to you, right? So if you hire someone who does like a local brand company to you who's really good at branding, and they give you a wireframe, and then you take that to a developer, and the developer puts it into code, and then you have to have all the content written and all the content integrated, and then you have to take it to someone else to do the on-page SEO aspects for it too. You can easily plan on spending a nice coin getting the website up. I would say most people on a really nice website don't need to spend that much for the most part. That would be the exception rather than the rule. But typically, if you're spending a few $100s or a few $1,000s on a website start to finish, you can pretty much guarantee that a lot of these corners are cut. But just like in your trade, right, maybe sometimes you are totally comfortable making those compromises to get to a budget point. Just know that it's not a one-size-fits-all. And just like it's really hard for you to tell your customer, hey, there's a difference between these SEER ratings, which is why the price difference, it's really hard for us to communicate sometimes like, hey, here's a difference in the cost difference on these websites, because it's easy to go, well, it's just a website. Yes, it is just a website, but there's a whole lot more to it than what we're thinking it is. But yeah, I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, because I'm always curious to hear what you guys think, and if I can help you, would love to. As always, follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Good seeing you guys. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.